What's up, everybody? Congratulations for getting to the final video. This video is mainly to just get you, pretty much get you familiar with the process and what to expect when you walk into your interview. After you go ahead and call and schedule one up. Okay. This is so you don't go in there, nervous as to what they're going to talk about or what's going to go on in there or what you should expect. Okay, after I tell you these things, you should be able to go in there confidently, exactly with one goal in mind, and you know pretty much just stress free, worry free. Okay, so we're gonna jump right into it. Um, this is pretty much going to be about the interview process. Okay, and this is how it's going to work. I'm going to take you step by step on the entire thing. Okay, the first thing you should do is decide whether you want to work for a company or a temp agency. Companies tend to have a couple more benefits. The only benefits that I've realized that they have that temp agencies don't is they get a bonus on Christmas or New Year's. They get a couple hours, maybe a 40-hour week check as a bonus, and obviously the potential to go up and become higher up in the ladder, a foreman, whatever, and possibly get a truck. That's obviously years and years down the road, though. Okay. Other than that, I don't really see any other benefit of being in a company. Now, the temp agency, they have holiday pay. Some of them do, some of them don't. They have vacations. Some of them do, some of them don't. They don't have any paid sick days or anything like that. Vacation is usually a lot shorter too. They have insurance. They don't have any bonuses, but they pay a lot better. Okay, companies pay you a lot less, and temp agencies pay you a lot more. That's the biggest difference there. Okay, now maybe a temp agency isn't for you, whatever. That's up to you. The point is, you have to now go to Google, search up electric companies in my city or electric staffing companies in my city, okay? Now, once they come up, just call them up and, pretty much say, hey, I'm looking for work as a top helper, as an electrician top helper. Is there any spots do you guys have work, etc., etc.? Most of them will tell you that they do. The ones that tell you that they do, it's better to go ahead and go in because you have to apply. Just go through the process, right? So pick out the ones you like the most. I mean, call them up, see if you're the type of person that wants to call and say, hey, what type of benefits do you have? Blah blah blah. Do that. Do your due diligence, and then go ahead and schedule your interview. Okay. All right. So after you schedule your interview, and you're actually going to go in, and this is what this is going to cover. Pretty much, the first thing is the atmosphere, right? You should not go into an interview scared or nervous or anything like that, because at the end of the day, these people work with and see people in the construction field, okay? Now, I'm going to be very honest and blunt. A lot of people in the construction field are not the brightest. They're not the smartest. They're not whatever. I'm not saying none of them are. I'm saying not all of them are. And there's a lot of people that just, very rude, ignorant, whatever. So they see a lot of these people. So if you are going into this setting and you're not, a really crazy person that should be worried about someone seeing you, then you should be good, okay? Especially if you talk professionally, if you're able to talk professionally and you go well dressed. I'm not saying a tux, I'm not even saying a tie, just like, maybe a button up or a polo, just dress nice, okay? If you're that type of person, then you should go in here and not worry about the atmosphere, okay? The atmosphere is really laid back in these places. It's not super strict or, whatever. It's very, very laid back. Don't worry. Don't stress about anything. Once you get to the person and, start talking to the person, I mean, feel free to joke around with them. I mean, these guys are really laid back. They're really not uptight, or they're not expecting you to be just sitting there like a soldier, okay? So that's a very important one. A lot of people, they get intimidated. I'm going into this new setting. I've never been here or done this before. Don't feel that way, okay? It's super laid back. The second one is test. They're going to test you, okay? A lot of them, or most of them, are going to test you. It's very rare to find a company that doesn't test you nowadays, but I'm not saying that's not a possibility. I've had several instances where I call up and they're like, yeah, just go ahead and send us your application. We'll email it to you, send it back, and then that's it. It's not as common anymore, but it could happen. The point is, if it doesn't, they're going to test you in two ways. They're going to give you a written test, which is a packet of questions, which is going to cover everything that I taught you in the previous videos in different ways, okay? They're not going to say exactly how I taught you, okay? But you have to, that's why I said you have to learn this stuff, because they might ask you things in a tricky way. They might try to trick you or this or that, okay? Now, hopefully you're a good test taker. If you're not, then just learn the material and go in there and try your best, okay? This is not a, A, B, C, D, or fail type test. They just want to see how much you know. And if you can get most of them right, they're going to be willing to give you a lot more money than if you go in there and get none of them right. So if you, just do your best. It's not a life or death situation. It's not a pass or fail test, okay? Your physical test is going to consist of if they decide to do this, okay? Honestly, they've never really given this to me, but I see that they give it to like helpers and things like that. They're going to make you bend some pipe, possibly. Maybe not, maybe they will. Or they're going to have a bunch of material out in front of you and tell you, point to a 4x4 box, point to a EMT connector, point to a coupling, point to a one-hole strap, etc., etc. And you're just going to have to point it out. Another test that I've seen is actually wiring up a switch with a light bulb and a receptacle. If they do that, I would not worry about it, because one, I did not teach that because it's very rare. And if they do, then you can just be like, you know what? Honestly, I haven't really done much of that type of work, but I've done other work. Okay, if they ask you about anything that you are completely clueless about, this is what you do. You don't sit there and be like, with a deer in the headlight type of look, because that's giving it away. You're telling them, I have no idea what you're talking about. And if it's something basic, then you're going to tell them, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea about anything in this trade. So don't do that. Go in there prepared to get asked a question that you don't know the answer to. Okay, sorry, just checking to see if it's still recording. The point is, be prepared to get asked a question you don't know the answer to. And when you get asked that, simply say, you know what? Honestly, I'm going to be very honest with you. I didn't do much of that in the project that I was at, or in the projects that I've been at. I remember doing that in the very beginning, but honestly, I can't remember right now. Just say that with confidence, okay? Don't stutter. Don't get all, don't lower your voice. Just say it confidently and say it right away. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't done much of that type of work, so I'm not really sure. But if you teach me, or if someone taught me, then I will get it fast. Say something like that. Or, you know what, it's been such a long time since I did that. I remember that I did that because it looks familiar. But honestly, I haven't done it in such a long time that I can't remember. I'm sorry. But if you or someone else was to tell me, I would pick it up like that. Say something like that where you're not going to, lose points, okay? All right. If they make you bend pipe, look up some videos on how to bend it so you can know how to work a bender or whatnot. If you're close to me, we could possibly do a one-on-one and bend pipe together so you can know how to actually bend the pipe, which is super important. But if not, then at least, go and see a video and look at how you put the bender and things like that, okay? So, yeah. Now, of course, if you want to go above and beyond, go ahead and buy your bender that you're going to be using. Buy a 10-foot stick of EMT that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's. EMT, 3/4. And, with your level, go ahead and bend some yourself. All right. Those are the tests, okay? Now, the application in and of itself, okay? What position and what wage are you going to go in there and ask for? You are going to go in and say, hey, I am a top helper. I'm an electrician's top helper, okay? Or I'm a top helper for electricians. I was wondering if you have work. Or I'm applying as a top helper, okay? Don't say green helper. Don't just say helper, because there's two types of helpers. Green helper that doesn't know anything, that you get paid a lot less, or top helper that you can get up to $19 an hour with the right company. Not all the companies, but with the right company. And, that's what you're going to apply. So that's what you're going to apply for. So top helper and wage, just go ahead and ask for $19, okay? If you want 19, go ahead and ask for 20. The point is, like I told you in the first video, ask for more than what you want. If you want 18, don't ask for 18, ask for 20. And always, always, always negotiate, because once that price is set in, you could very well work for that, for the rest of your life if you don't ask for a raise or whatever, okay? Now, obviously, if you do, obviously it can go up or whatever, but it's not going to go up for a long time, most of the time, okay? I found a loophole, but that requires a lot of good, top quality work, fast work, hard work, and the right people, it's a lot of things. It's not like anybody can do it, okay? So just always, always, always negotiate. Do not be afraid to negotiate and ask for more, okay? Ask for at least $19 an hour. If you have no idea what you're worth or what you want to make, just ask for $19 an hour. Be like, I feel like I deserve 19 an hour because I'm a hard worker, I'm bilingual, I'm blah, 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 blah. Okay? Say it like that. Don't just be like, I'd like 19, or I think 19 is good, or what do you think of 19? Don't ever ask them. Don't ever ask, because they're going to be like, well, 19 sounds horrible. How about $8 an hour? They don't want to pay you. So tell them, I think I'm worthy of 19 an hour because blah, 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 blah. Okay? That's what somebody that's worth that much is going to say. Okay? Now, for your employment history, in the applications, they're obviously going to ask you for your employment history. They're going to ask you, have you done this work before? Where have you worked before, etc., etc. If you say, I've never done this before, or if you put in your application a bunch of things that have nothing to do with electrical work, that's going to look bad on you, because they're going to be like, well, you're a green helper, not a top helper. So I am not condoning this. I'm just going to share a short story with you, okay? When I started electrical work, I had worked for another company, another temp agency. Okay, I had done side work with family before I started, before. That's what I put in my employment history. Why? Because I didn't want to start off at $9 an hour, okay? I realize that certain things are bad, and that's why I say I'm not condoning this. But then again, you have to make a living. You're, putting in this hard work. You're learning all this material. You deserve more than what a lot of people out there are getting paid, okay? You're going to come across a lot of people that aren't worth a shit, that are getting paid a lot of money, okay? So you need to get paid a good amount of money if you're going to go out there and do good work. Okay? Especially in your first one. That's what I'm saying. When I did it, I said, yeah, I was working for this other temp agency. And if you don't know another temp agency in Greensboro, send me a message and I can help you out. If you're in anywhere else besides Greensboro, you're just going to have to do some research. Don't pick a temp agency within the same city, like right beside each other or whatever. The point is, I said that I work for another temp agency, another company at another work site. Now don't just say shit. Don't just say things out of your ass. Know what you're going to say so you can write it down, so you can have the information, the phone number, the address, all that thing, because that's what they're going to ask you in the employment application. The company you work for, the boss, the supervisor, his number, the company's address, the company's phone number, all that stuff. They're going to ask you that. Okay, so go prepared. All right? If you're going to do that, if you're going to do what I did, do it the right way. Don't just go in there and just, I don't know, I worked at a school before. No. All right, they're going to ask you, what school? What company was there? Things like that. Do your research. If you need some help and you're in North Carolina, reach out to me and I can, I'll help you out. But yeah, that's what I did. Okay. Now, if you want to do that, that has nothing to do with me, but I'm not telling you to do that. Okay. Now, that was employment history. That involves companies you work for before, so you can put in the application. That involves jobs. They're going to ask you, hey, what type of jobs have you been on? Where did you work at before here, etc., etc. Same thing. Do your research. Okay, search up companies. Maybe even call up and see, hey, what projects do you have? And they tell you, oh, I have a project here in Durham, blah blah blah. Well, that could be a project that you could say you're on if it's a different company or whatever, okay? So, yeah. Now, the different types of agencies. As far as the rest of the application, it's just simple. It's a typical application. They're going to ask you, for all your basic information, your tax information. Obviously, a lot of these companies are going to drug test you. Now, a lot of them kind of just go, good, you're hired. But a lot don't. That's something that you have to be aware of. The rest of the application, no, that's really it. The last thing that I wanted to talk about is different temp agencies, or technically different companies, okay? Okay. The different temp agencies. Different temp agencies, obviously they're, working against each other, but a lot of them know a lot about each other, okay? So, like at least in North Carolina they do. Some of them pay more. Some of them will give different benefits. Some of them have more work, okay? See, like for example, in North Carolina, there's one temp agency that has a lot of work. It's probably the most known temp agency in North Carolina. They'll always have work for you, okay? You'll never have to go unemployed or get laid off. They'll always have work for you as long as you're a good worker. If they keep hearing bad things from you, then he's gonna be like, I don't got nothing for you. Call me back next week. If you're a good worker, yeah, I'll call you back. When I find something else. A couple hours later, hey, you're gonna go to this job tomorrow. Blah blah blah. Okay. There's that type of temp agency. There's a temp agency that pays a lot more, but maybe doesn't have as much work. There's a temp agency that pays a lot, but their jobs are, maybe a little bit further away. You got to look into all of that. If you're not in North Carolina, do your own research. Call up and ask the temp agencies, hey, what benefits do you have? Where are your jobs usually at? Things like that. Those are questions you should be asking. I didn't really do that. But I knew a lot of people that knew all that stuff, so that's why I didn't really do that. But that's something you could do. Now, also, take into account all the things I just said. Does job stability is job stability the most important factor, or is pay, or benefits, or is distance? All those things, okay? All those things are going to determine whether you even go to a company or a temp agency. And then whether after you choose one or the other, then that's going to have subcategories, and you're going to decide, okay, this is where I want to go, or this is where I want to apply to. Okay, definitely go and apply more than one if you want. That's up to you. But yeah, another little trick is if you decide to go to company A or temp agency B, this is what you could do. You could go to temp agency X or company P to just experience it, okay? Go to a company or go apply at a company or a temp agency that you don't want to work with or you don't want to work for, and just apply. Just, go through the whole test. Yeah, it might take you a day or whatever, but you'll actually see, okay, you'll be nervous and whatnot, but then after that, you're going to see, okay, this is how they treated me. They gave me these tests. These are the questions on the test. They asked me all these things, blah, blah, blah. And then that way you'll know what to expect for yourself when you go apply to the temp agency or the company that you really do want to work for, okay? So that's something you could do, okay? As far as everything else, that's pretty much it, you guys. I taught you everything you need to know that they're going to ask you, okay? You have some basic electrical knowledge. You know what to expect. You know what tools you need to get. I would get the tools after you get hired. If you get them before, that's fine. Just, that's up to you. But, you know what tools you need. You know the materials, some of it. That's pretty much it, you guys. If there's something that you really want to know or you're curious about or whatever, and I did not cover it, definitely feel free to send me a message, ask me, or whatever. But as far as I am concerned, I've taught you everything you need to know to go into a temp agency and say, I know this much, I want this much, and they're going to give it to you. It's that simple. Honestly, you're going to find that it's a lot easier than it sounds like, okay? And then after you do that, you go into the job, you learn as much as you can, and then you either keep with that company or go to another company, ask for more money, because you're going to be more comfortable and you're actually going to know more. And then you do the same thing here, but you up the price. And you just keep doing that. That's how I work my way up. And a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people feel very faithful, loyal to that company. At the end of the day, if you die or if you get hurt or if you get fired or you quit, they're going to replace your ass the next day. So I'm trying to look out for what's best for me. That's what I've been doing, and it's been going pretty good. But you do you. Everybody thinks differently. So, yeah. If you have any other questions, anything like that, feel free to reach out to me. Other than that, good luck, you guys. I wish you the best, and I know you can do this, okay? Trust me, it's not as difficult or hard or as intimidating as it seems like, okay? All right. Good luck. Go kill it out there, and feel free to reach out to me. I'll see you guys later. And definitely let me know once you do get a job, okay? I would really appreciate you doing like a little small video. Hey, I took David's advice. He taught me a little bit, and then I was able to actually get a job at $19 an hour, okay? I would really appreciate that from you guys. And, just hearing that that you got the job is going to be awesome, okay? That's why I do it, okay? This is why I'm doing this whole thing, because I want to see people progress. So please do reach out to me once you do get that job, okay? All right, see you guys later. Have a good one.